All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in today. Like I said, I'm not going to be talking at you for too long today. I'm going to be giving just basically a brief introduction to World War I. But before we even do that, we are going to review the terms that we studied last week. So I've got a Quizlet link without any pictures on it. We're going to review that so that you can take that term quiz at the end of class here, okay? I'm also going to show you a short video. It's like 4 or 5 minutes, just talking about some of the stuff that you are going to want to unpack before we delve into World War I, because the first assignment that you've got is to watch a movie, a true story on an American unit in World War I in 1918 that gets cut off called the Lost Battalion. It's an amazing true story, so we're going to be watching that. You've got a little worksheet that goes along with that as we do that. So we'll get to that here in just a moment, but not yet. But what I want to do first is I want to do a little Quizlet live. Let's go to Quizlet.live. Quizlet.live and plug in this code right here. Let's see, how many kids we got here? What's up? Wow. you're such a dweeb. You distracted me. I didn't even look at how many kids we have. All right, so 31 minus 3. All right, 28.
Start recording yet?
Okay, missing just a couple of you. That's okay. Give it just about 30 seconds here, and then we'll play. Okay, 10 seconds. Here we go. All right, there are your spirit animals, folks. And there. Uh-oh, Nick. We lost Nick. It's okay, Nick. You can always enter that code over to the left there. And they're racing. Morgan, wowee, round 1. Same spirit animals, round 2, and they're racing. Uh-oh. Alpacas might have an edge on bald eagles. Oh, somebody's giving you a run for your money there, Morgan. Round 3, here we go. And they're racing. This is it, folks. This one's for all the Tostitos. Alpacas and bald eagles neck and neck again. Oh. Wowee. All right. Nice job. Okay, folks. That was fun. Okay. So next thing that we've got coming up here, folks, is I'm going to give you just a brief introduction to World War I. Like I said, this is a short video, and I'm sure a lot of you roll your eyes at this one because you think it's more for middle schoolers or whatever, but that's okay. The information is great. Remember that we're talking about 1914 and 1918 here. About 9 million soldiers died and even more casualties of civilians in this time. So the scope is going to be a heck of a lot different than what we studied in the American Civil War. So as opposed to 600,000 people dying, we're talking in the millions, 9 million. And the United States involvement in World War I is relatively minimal. The United States doesn't get involved until 1917 and 1918, which is one of the stories that you are going to be learning about today. All right. Well, I'm going to mute myself, as I'm sure a lot of you are going to be excited about, and then we're going to get right to this video.
That's my great-grandpa, Timothy. I was named after him. He was a medic in World War I. I don't know who he was named after. Dear Tim and Moby, why was World War I called the Great War? From Abby. No, it wasn't a fun time. People called it the Great War because World War I was bigger than any war that came before it. A lot of new military technology like airplanes, submarines, machine guns, heavy artillery, and even poison gas were used during World War I.
This new technology made for a lot of casualties. 9 million soldiers died, and 23 million more were wounded.
Well, it all started on June 28, 1914, when a Serbian man assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Ferdinand was in line to be King of Austria-Hungary, a powerful empire in the center of Europe. A month after the assassination, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. It's complicated. Before World War I, there was a lot of tension brewing in Europe. Different countries were competing for land and power. It was really just a matter of time before war broke out. When Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, all the other countries started choosing sides. Russia had an alliance with Serbia, so it joined the war. An alliance is an agreement between two or more countries to help each other out. Europe had so many alliances going on that what began as a conflict between two countries became a huge war between many.
On one side, the Allied powers included Serbia, France, Belgium, Russia, and Great Britain.
On the other side, the Central Powers were Austria-Hungary, Germany, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire. Most of the fighting took place in Belgium and France, with the German army doing most of the work for the Central Powers. Up-close fighting in trenches called trench warfare was a big part of World War I. Battles raged on without either side gaining an inch. The Battle of the Somme in 1916 lasted for months.
Some 300,000 soldiers died, and about 1 million more were injured, and the Allies gained less than 10 kilometers of land.
Woodrow Wilson, the American president, tried to keep the U.S. out of the war. Along with many Americans, he saw this as a European conflict and wanted nothing to do with it. But two major events forced him to enter the war. On May 7, 1915, a German submarine sank a British ocean liner called the Lusitania, and 128 American civilians died. In February of 1917, the Zimmermann telegram was discovered. The German government was asking Mexico to join the war.
In return, Germany would help Mexico take a bunch of southwestern states back from the United States.
Also, an internal revolution caused Russia to pull out of the war in 1917, making the Allied forces desperate for help. The U.S. entered the war on the side of the Allies in April of 1917.
Congress passed the Selective Service Act, saying that all men between the ages of 21 and 31 had to sign up for military service.
The U.S. drafted 3 million people.
That included 350,000 African Americans.
Most American soldiers fought in France. With the help of America, the Allies started winning. Big battles like the Argonne and the Second Battle of the Marne pushed the German armies back. On November 11, 1918, the Germans agreed to an armistice, or ceasefire. The Treaty of Versailles made Germany accept blame for the war and pay the Allies $33 billion in war reparations. President Wilson argued for less harsh measures in his famous 14-point plan for peace, but he was overruled. Many historians believe that the Treaty of Versailles was partly to blame for World War II 20 years later. Please don't do that.
All right. So that's your introduction for World War I. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Schoology, because there's a couple things that I want to show you on Schoology in terms of due dates, where stuff is located, like in terms of like the new video and all that stuff. And then we'll finish up with the quiz here, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go like that. We're going to go like this, and we are going to view the course as one of you stinkers. There we go. Sorry, Justin. All right. So be advised, your Chapter 4 guided notes and your Civil War Lecture 2 Play Posit is in the gradebook. If you haven't gotten that in, you are going to need to do that if you want points. Okay, because I've already graded that stuff and put it in there. Okay, like I said, with the flip grids and with the play posits, it is helpful if you can shoot me an email just to let me know if you're turning it in late. That way I can update it. That way I can update the gradebook in a timely fashion for you. Okay. So remember, your flip grid learning check for the Civil War is due at the end of today, as well as your Chapter 10 guided notes. That's what we worked on last Thursday. Okay, that's what we worked on last week. Your Lost Battalion Dropbox is going to be open until this Thursday. Okay, and I'll show you how to access that video here in a moment, but not yet. So all of your Civil War stuff under this folder here. So if you still have to complete the Chapter 4 guided notes or those play posits, it's there. Here is where you're going to be going to take that vocab quiz for the imperialism stuff. Those are the terms that we just worked on right under this folder. And then under your activities folder for here, that's where you'll see the Chapter 10 guided notes that we worked on last week, okay? But what I want everybody to do right now is I want everybody to open up this Lost Battalion folder under activities and open up that PDF right there. Now, when you click on this, you're going to be able to put this into Notability, this PDF into Notability. But when you click on this link right here, that should be opening up. Yep, here we go. When you click on this movie link here, this should open up YouTube. And as long as you're logged into your school Google account, which you obviously are now, because in order to get into this meeting you had to be, make sure that that works. Would everybody just make sure that that works for me right now? And this will be like the last thing we do before we take this quiz. Okay, so I will stick around a little bit here. If kids need help with accessing this, you need help with Flipgrid, you need help with whatever, okay? But other than that, we're gonna go right in and take our quiz right now, folks, okay? So I am going to stop sharing this. We're gonna open up the quiz. All right, kids, the quiz is now available. Once you can open up that quiz, have at it. Like I said, I will be right here. If you get locked out of your quiz or whatever, just come back into this Google Meet and I will help.